Welcome to the channel. If you're a parent or planning to be one someday, this message is for you. Not just a motivational talk. Not a list of do's and don'ts single quote yes. But a reminder. A wake-up call. A comfort. We're talking about something that matters more than the perfect lunchboxes, the flawless routines, or even your parenting techniques. We're talking about you. Not just your role as a parent, but your presence. The power of presence, why being emotionally available matters more than being perfect. Let's go there. The first point I will be sharing with you is the pressure to be perfect. I still remember when I had my first child. I read all the books, followed the routines, did the sleep training, the organic food prep, the milestone tracking. I was checking boxes. But inside, I was exhausted. And more than that, I was disconnected. Not because I didn't love my baby, but because I was so focused on being the perfect mom, I forgot to be a present one. Perfection is a trap. Social media doesn't help. We scroll and compare. She's got her kids dressed in white and smiling by 7 a.m. He's making homemade snacks and homeschooling and running a business. But behind the filters are real people with real struggles. The truth? Our children don't need perfect parents. They need present ones. The second point, what presence really means. Let's talk about what presence really looks like. Presence isn't just being in the same room. It's about being emotionally tuned in. Let me ask you, when your child walks into the room, do they feel seen? Do they feel safe to express what's really on their heart? Can they trust that you'll listen, not just respond? Presence is about eye contact. Soft tone. It's about the pauses before you speak. The patience when they stumble. It's not about fixing everything, it's about feeling with them. That's what being emotionally available means. The third is the story of silent struggle. I once worked with a family where the teenage daughter had started acting out, bad grades, withdrawal, sneaking out. The parents were wonderful people. Hardworking. Involved. Loving. But they were also overwhelmed, juggling careers, other kids, responsibilities. One evening, during a family session, the girl finally said something that broke the silence. I don't need more lectures. I just wish you'd sit with me sometimes, without your phone. Silence filled the room. Her mom cried. Her dad looked stunned. They had no idea. Because they were there. But not really there. That girl didn't want discipline. She wanted presence. Point 4. The competing noise of modern life. Let's be honest. Life today is loud. Notifications, work emails, endless to-do lists. Even when we're with our kids, our minds are often somewhere else. I've caught myself doing it too. My child would say, "Mom, look," and I'd glance up with a distracted wow, while my fingers were still typing. They know. They feel it. They notice when we choose a screen over their story. And slowly, they stop asking us to look. Presence is a decision. A choice to put the phone down. To pause the multitasking. To offer your full attention, for 10 seconds or 10 minutes. Part 5. The small moments that stay forever. You know what our kids will remember. Not the birthday parties or the expensive gifts. They'll remember the time you sat on the floor and played with them. The walk you took when they had a bad day. That night you let them cry in your arms without trying to fix it. I remember once when my daughter was 7. She had a nightmare and came into my room crying. I didn't say much. Just wrapped her in a blanket and held her for what felt like hours. Years later, she told me, "That night made me feel safe. Like no monster could reach me because you were there." I had forgotten that night. But she never did. Point 6. Permission to be human. Let's take a moment and breathe. If you're listening and feeling guilty, please don't. This is not a message to shame parents. It's a message to free you. You don't have to be the expert, the flawless mom, the super dad. You just have to be human enough to connect. When you mess up, apologize. When you're tired, say so. Let your kids see your real emotions, with boundaries, of course. Because when they see your humanity, they learn how to navigate theirs. Point 7. Raising secure children through presence. Emotionally present parents raise secure children. Children who know their feelings matters. Trust that home is a safe space. Aren't afraid of failure, because love isn't based on performance. Research supports this too. Studies show that children with emotionally available caregivers have better mental health, higher self-esteem, and stronger relationships later in life. It's not magic. It's presence. Point 8. Presence in different ages. Presence looks different at different stages. For babies, it's eye contact, gentle voice, and warm arms. For toddlers, it's patience during tantrums, playful time, and security. For preteens, it's availability, being there when they want to talk. For teens, it's non-judgmental listening, respect, trust. And for adult children, it's continued connection. A phone call, a check-in, a reminder that they still matter to you. Point 9. Making room for real connection. Presenter. So how do we do it in real life? Let's get practical. 1. Create device-free zones, like dinner time or bedtime routines. 2. Have daily emotional check-ins, 1 question a day. How are you feeling today? 3. Schedule one-on-one time, even if it's just 10 minutes per week. 4. Practice listening without fixing, just be there, hold space. These small habits build a deep emotional bridge between you and your child. Point 10. When presence is hard, some of you may be going through a hard season. Financial stress, relationship struggles, mental exhaustion. You may feel like you have nothing left to give. But here's the beauty of presence. Even when you are broken, your willingness to be present as you are is still powerful. 1 quiet moment, 1 hug, 1 listening ear. It can change everything. Point 11. When you weren't given presence growing up, some of us didn't grow up with emotionally present parents. Maybe your parents provided for you, but they weren't there emotionally. Maybe you were told to stop crying, or heard, "You're too sensitive," or were constantly corrected but rarely hugged. And now, as a parent, you're trying to offer your children something you never received. Let me say this clearly, that is brave. That is powerful. Breaking generational patterns starts with small moments of emotional awareness. You don't have to be perfect. But by choosing presence, you're rewriting the story for your children and for yourself. Point 12. Emotional availability for both parents. Sometimes, we unconsciously think one parent should be the emotional anchor. Oh, the mom handles emotions, the dad handles discipline. But kids need emotional presence from both parents. Fathers, your emotional availability can change your child's confidence. Mothers, your emotional steadiness can ground their world. It's not about gender roles, it's about emotional connection. If both parents work together to be present, what a gift that becomes to the entire family. Point 13. Rebuilding connection after distance. Maybe you've already grown distant from your child. Maybe they're pulling away, shutting down, or refusing to talk. And you wonder, is it too late? The answer is no. It's never too late to choose presence. Start small, a gentle check-in. A short walk together. An apology for the disconnect. Your child might resist at first, especially if they've felt alone for a while. But consistency builds trust. You can rebuild that emotional bridge. And presence is your tool. Point 14. Presence in conflict. It's easy to be emotionally available when everything is calm. But what about during conflict? When your child yells, breaks a rule, or shuts the door in your face? That's when your presence matters most. Staying calm. Staying open. Saying, I'm here. I don't agree with your behavior, but I still love you. Let's talk when you're ready. That balance of firm boundaries and emotional safety teaches your child how to navigate their emotions with respect. Your steady presence in chaos teaches them that love isn't conditional. And my last point talks about presence as legacy. And finally, I want you to think beyond today. Think 10, 20, even 30 years from now. What kind of memories do you want your children to carry? What kind of emotional legacy do you want to leave behind? Let it be said, she was present. He listened. They made me feel valued. That legacy isn't built in big speeches or expensive gifts. It's built in listening without rushing, hugging without a reason, showing up again and again, imperfect but present, and that is what will echo in your child's heart long after the noise of the world fades. Let me leave you with this. You may not always get it right. You may not always have the words. But your presence is your superpower. When your child looks back, they won't say, "My mom had all the answers." They'll say, "My mom was there." So today, choose presence. One moment at a time. One conversation at a time. Because being emotionally available will always matter more than being perfect. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this spoke to you, please share it with another parent. Let's remind each other of the power of being present. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more content that brings healing and hope to families. See you in the next video, and until then, stay connected, stay kind, and stay present.